Yo, what up? This is Boštjan from Bosslifehacks.com and I'm here in beautiful Barcelona, and today I have another cool topic for you, and it's how to get what you want. Now, before I go into the bits and pieces, I'd like to tell you that this topic is a little bit more a bit more law of attraction, the secret sort of stuff. So just bear with me and then you'll see it makes a lot of sense, right? Now, first, I would like to start with some anecdotal advice, and then I'll give you some actual tips and tricks of how to actually get to the thing or things that you want, right? And the anecdotal advice is actually, I met a friend yesterday, and I met him before 1 year ago here in Barcelona again, and I re-met him, right? And at the time when I met him, he was living in this small flat together with another dude, kind of dirty, starting his own business and all that. And I meet him yesterday, and dude has 25 employees, he's killing it, it's insane, right? And we talk, we walk around, and at some point he tells me, dude, you know what's funny? I actually wrote all this down. I set all these goals in my mind before, and now I was checking it a few days ago or something, and they all came true. And I was like, shit, right? And then that's not the only person, right? When I was working with Mario, when I was in Romania, we met Radu Antonio, right? He told me the same thing. He was like, I had this little card in my pocket and I wrote down all the goals.
Now, for getting lean, I recommend two methods of autosuggestion. Number one, carrying and reading a goal card every day.
So didn't you write yourself a check? I heard that you did. Is that true?
I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995. And I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff. But then, just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on, I think it was Dumb and Dumber, maybe.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah.
The goal card method is simple. It involves writing your major goal on a card that you carry loose in your pocket, and you read it every day, at least twice a day, when you go to sleep and when you wake up.
I wrote down the financial, I don't know, some pretty sick number, and a week or 2 weeks ago it came true, right? So it was another one of those. And even back at the time when I was still working with Max, when we were recording The Natural, he even said something like that, some goals with girls and etc., that when he started his journey, he also wrote some things down, right? So what I would like to give to you with this is the anecdotal advice or the anecdotal evidence that it actually is possible to achieve what you want, right? And that's the first thing you need to believe before you start doing anything, right? So that's the first thing, it's the anecdotal advice, and now we'll get to the next point. Okay, so here's the thing. After this sort of anecdotal advice, when you realize that it actually is possible, or when you at least dream of the possibility, right, then you can get to actual tips, right? But here's one big problem that we face before we even get into the actual steps, right? The problem is that you sort of, okay, you think, or maybe you thought about it and you think maybe it's possible. And here's the thing, you know what needs to be done, right? Maybe you want to get in shape. It's not nuclear science, right? You need to eat less and exercise more. Maybe you need to find a girlfriend or whatever. You heard about game? You know what to do. You want a business? There's tons of online guides and self-help resources that will help you get that. But the trick and the problem is there's too many pieces to put together. There's all this information, all this confusion. There's too many pieces to put together, and you have your doubts and fears and people around you not motivating you, and you don't have the leverage, and maybe you take the first step and then you quit. It's very hard to put all those pieces together, right? So how do we get a systematical way of achieving your goals, getting what you want, call it what you wish? How do we get a systematical way that's pretty much proven to work, and you put in as little effort as possible? I'm not saying it's gonna be little effort, but I'm saying that if you make it strategic and systematical, it might be a bit easier. All right, the number one step, and I talked about this in different videos before already, the number one thing, and if you only do one thing, this is it, right? Surround yourself with the right people. This is key, that's absolute key. obviously the best thing for you is if you can do that in real life, if you can actually hang around with the people that have what you want. You know, whether it's like people who are successful with business, lifestyle, social skills, nutrition and fitness, it doesn't matter. But what you want, if you manage to hang out with those people, that's number one, okay? And I don't care if you have to beg, steal, sell everything you have, travel, like this is the number one thing that will get you there, because here's what happens, and here's what happened for me as well when I hung out with those people. When I hung out with people who made the shitloads of cash, or people who have like completely down their like travel schedules, they're like, you know, like super sick hustle ethics. Here's what happens when you meet those people. You realize that it's actually possible, right? And that's the number one thing, is like when you have like a person made out of flesh there, and like they're killing it in the specific area that you want, you're like, okay, like they're doing it, like maybe I can do it. And like you see the actual steps and things they're doing, you're like, oh, maybe I can do them, right? So this is the number one, and this is the key, right? Again, if you can, do it in real life. If you can't, YouTube, books, videos, whatever the fuck that you can. As much as different influence that you can to brainwash yourself as if you were hanging out with them, right? But again, the best thing to do is meet them somehow. I don't care what you have to do. This is the number one thing that will change everything else. All right, the next thing that you can do is you can create a vision board, okay? Or you can write down some goals, like, you know, set them down on a piece of paper, or, you know, produce a little card that the Rado Antonio was talking about. It doesn't matter what it is, but my preferred method is vision board. You can have a sort of thing of your own, but basically it means that you somehow catch those thoughts that you have about what it is that you want to achieve, and you put them on a separate object, like you put them out, okay? Like either goals, either vision board, and I'll make another video on how to do a vision board. But you put them out, and you put them somewhere where you can see that every single day, right? And then it's like, it's no longer some crazy dream. It's like you're committed to that because you put it somewhere, right? It's on your wall. And if you're not taking action into that direction, that thing's gonna remind you every single day, you're not. Like on your wall is make $1 million, and like you're broke, and like you don't have a job and life sucks, right? Like, doesn't work, right? So you have that on your wall, it's gonna remind you every single day, right? Furthermore, when people come to, you know, visit your house or whatever, when they see that as well, they will also know that you're serious about that. And it's not just some sort of crazy dream anymore, but it's actually serious, okay? And that's the next step. After you hang around with people that actually have it, you have to make a commitment that you actually want it, and that's why you need to put it out, you know, because then you can actually start taking steps in that direction. Again, it does not matter whether it's like just simply goals really clearly written down. You have all sorts of videos and guides about that. I prefer vision board because it's a little more metaphor based, you know, like different images can invoke different sort of emotions and anchors for you. Again, I'll do a video on that topic as well, or it can be some other way that you prefer, but you have to put these things out so it's not in your mind and it shows some real commitment. After you have a bunch of people around you that, you know, is doing what you want to be doing, and after you kind of made that commitment to yourself, it's time to start achieving it. Before that, you have a little mind fuck that I like to use. It's kind of jump to reality. I gave some advice about this already in the money beliefs video. Action step number one is find the most fancy hotel in your area, like the most top that you can find, and go there and just have a drink. It's probably gonna be an expensive drinks, but it doesn't matter, right? It's an experiment. Find this fancy hotel and go there. And really observe your feelings and how do you feel. And it's gonna give you a little glimpse of the possibility. For you know, for those few moments, you will actually feel and experience how it is to have that. And then you will get the drive and the passion and you know, the motivation that you need to actually get there. Maybe if it's like, I don't know, maybe if you want to be more successful in your relationships or something similar, right? Just go talk to that really hot girl that you really like, even if it's for 5 seconds, and then she hates you. Like, it does not matter. For those 5 seconds, you had like this one moment of like being there and experiencing how it is, and that it actually is possible, and you saw it for a little bit, right? Again, that will give you the motivation and the dedication and the willpower and all the other resources that you need to actually push through there to make it a reality, right? Okay, now that we covered that you need a good bunch of people around you, you need to make a commitment to yourself, then you have the little hacks that will kind of give you a glimpse of the possibility. Step 4 is to educate yourself, okay? If it's just this abstract goal, like I'm gonna make $1 million, like it's very hard to achieve it. Like if you don't know where the road is, it's hard to come to the end, right? So that's where education comes. And keep in mind, education was not number 1, you know, reading books about the topics. No, that's now, okay? That's after you have people around you, that's after you have the glimpse of the possibility, and that's after you made the commitment yourself, right? Now you start the education part. Whichever area it is, you just get in a lot of information, case studies of people that have done it, what sort of techniques are good for you, you know, like, and again, it depends what you want to do. If it's financial freedom, okay, what sort of ways there are to achieve what I want? What sort of people already tried and were successful? What's the way that is most applicable for me, right? Because there's a million different ways of achieving all of those, and you need to find the one that works for you, right? So that's number 4. That's getting a lot of information in, educating yourself. And the best thing about this, if you have internet, you have all you need, right? No more need for universities, expensive seminars. All the information is out there. You just need to grab it, right? Then we come to step number 5, which is actually making stuff happen, which is action steps, okay? Because if you sort of gathered all the information, then now you know what you have to do, okay? And then you just start, day by day, you start putting in the effort and the actions necessary, right? Again, you don't have to know exactly 100% what you're doing, but the more steps that you take, the more little actions you do, the more you will sort of learn, and the more you will know which sort of actions will guide you through to the end. And here's the thing about taking these little steps of action, right? Like, they take time, you know? It's not 1 week, it's not 2, like, it's years usually, right? Years of effort to make any substantial changes. But then those changes are a reality and they're here forever, right? Again, you start with small things, you know, maybe, I don't know, you want to grow, right now I'm trying to actively grow my Instagram a bit more, right? Again, okay, first of all, surrounded myself with people who kind of have that, ask a lot of questions, get information, make some specific goals in my mind of what I want to achieve with that, and then start with steps, okay? Get a faster SIM card, oh, that helps a bit. Start with some stories, that helps a bit. Do a little bit of hashtag game, that helps a bit. Like, again, like, it's not super crystal clear and everything is so easy, no, but again, you're moving into the right direction, and that's all it matters, because then if you're taking critical action and if you're taking real action, then the results will usually give you enough feedback and a bit more of motivation to actually push through, right? Again, so this is key. Don't neglect this part. A lot of people neglect this part. This is a long part, usually takes time, but it gives you good results. Now that you know that you need a bunch of people around you that have or are doing the things that you want to be doing, now that you kind of made that commitment, you educated yourself, you saw that it's real, and you're starting to take action, okay? What happens now? The question here is, which is the super key one, but this question is only at this stage, okay? The question is, how bad do you want it? There's a very good YouTube video of Randy Posh, I hope I pronounced it right, and it's called The Last Lecture, because he gave a lecture just before he died. He had like a very fast growing form of cancer, but it was a really good lecture. I'll give a link there, please check it. Basically, he talked about how to achieve your childhood dreams. He was like a Disney animator and then like a professor at, I think, the Carnegie University. Super inspirational, right? And then at some point he gives a slide of a brick wall and he says,
so that was a bit of a setback, but remember, the brick walls are there for a reason. All right? The brick walls are not there to keep us out. The brick walls are there to give us a chance to show how badly we want something. Because the brick walls are there to stop the people who don't want it badly enough. They're there to stop the other people.
Brick walls are not there because they're not meant to stop you. They're meant to separate you from the people that don't want it bad enough. Right? Think about that for a second. That's very, very cool, right? So when you have all those pieces of puzzle together, then it comes down to how bad you want it, right? Or another good example, I watched a cool movie the other day. It was from 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. Again, I had no idea. Obviously, it's MTV production and all that. There's a lot of fluff. But there's insane amounts of hustle that guy need to put in, you know? Like to have that amazing rock star lifestyle.
Hey, man. You damaging my merchandise. You like cars?
Yeah.
You know, we can use some help around here, maybe washing cars since you like putting fingerprints on things.
No, I ain't washing no cars, man.
So what you want to do?
I want to buy it.
Yeah? You got a license?
No.
I'll tell you what, get you a license, get you some money, come talk to me.
Oh, I'll get the money.
I would take coins. Hell, I'd take pennies if that's all the fiend had.
Back again. Hey, you need anything else?
It doesn't just come like that, right? So again, it really matters what you want, and then it comes down to what are you willing to do for it, okay? Are you willing to put in the effort and all the resources necessary? Because again, it depends what you want, but do you want it bad enough? So this is a question that will kind of fuel you on this long journey of, because the beginning, setting up your goals, educating yourself, that's easy. The hard part is pushing through, that's the hard part. So do you want it bad enough? That's the thing that will help you push through the hard part, right? And now, here's the last part of the puzzle. Connected to pushing through the hard part, and it's called all roads lead to Rome, right? So what I want to say with this, it's maybe you want something different that's your goal, right? Basically we're all people, we just want to be happy, right? And there's many different ways of achieving this. Maybe at this moment you think that you have to be this rich millionaire, I don't know what, to be happy, to get the girls, whatever, right? But a lot of the cases, that's not even true, Either you make case studies of those people and that doesn't happen, or you can realize that you don't even need that to truly be happy, because maybe money for you, as is for a lot of people, for myself as well, money is just a tool. It's just it's just freedom. It equals freedom. It doesn't equal, I need, I don't know, so much. Because for example, for a very, very nice lifestyle, maybe you just need to move to Asia or some super cheap country. You can have a sick lifestyle there, making not even crazy amount of money, right? So what I mean by saying all roads lead to Rome is you need to reevaluate your decisions all the time, okay? And if you're putting this insane amount of effort and time into something, you need to ask yourself, is this making you happy? Is this making me happy? Do I want to spend 10 more years doing that, right? And if the answer is no, maybe you should think again, right? Because another good test is, okay, if you die tomorrow, are you happy? Are you happy, or what's happening, right? So really think about these questions. Again, how to get what you want. This is a bit of more of a systematical approach, but it's important to think about that as well. Are the things that I kind of set up a few months, a few years ago, of the things that I want, is that what I really want, or did my perception change? Maybe I want something different now, so you adjust accordingly, right? All right, so for the recap, this was a very long, ranty video, a lot of different things, right? But basically, how to get what you want, it's not as difficult as it seems, okay? Again, first of all, we started with anecdotal advice of, actual people that are doing that. that kind of change your mind and perception that it actually is possible. And that's also the first step that you need to take. But before that, it's very easy to get confused. It's very easy to, you know, because we all kind of know what needs to be done, but it's very hard to put all the pieces together, right? So here's a systematic approach where the step number one is surround yourself with the right people who have what you want. The best thing to do is have them around in real life and do whatever it takes to get to them, or use books, YouTube videos and all that to influence you. Then the next thing is you really need to make a commitment to yourself first, and a very good way of doing that is either vision board, write down your goals, do some other forms of things, but basically what you want, what you imagine, like you need to put it somewhere out, making a commitment for yourself and for whoever you want as well to see, so it becomes real. Then there's this little trick called glimpse of possibility. Depending on what you want and in which area, you can sort of brainwash yourself or experience that just for a moment. Again, think about how you can make that happen for yourself. I mentioned the fancy hotel technique. Then the next step is actually educating yourself, meaning get a lot of different resources, case studies of people who've done it before, really educate yourself on the topic. And then only next step, which is step number 5, is actually start taking action. And then after you're already doing all that action, there's the brick wall thing, which is basically stopping you if you don't want it bad enough. So that's this question. And then lastly, you have to know that all roads lead to Rome, which means that you might change what you imagined in the beginning, right? So really make sure you do enough of reflection, make sure that you kind of challenge your beliefs all the time. And if the things that you wanted before changed, make sure you change your actions accordingly. All right, again, this was Boštjan from Bosslifehacks.com here in Barcelona. Longer, rantier video, but on a very, very important topic. Let me know what do you think about this topic. Drop your comments down below. I'll read all of it, obviously, and answer them. Let me know what your goals, ambitions are if you want. One idea is also to make them public, and then it's a bit more, you know, like out there. So yeah, let me know. Pleasure being here again, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Peace out. Let's go eat now. Thanks, man.